What's going on, guys? It's Sprinks Trades coming to you live with another week of breakdowns. Hope everything is well for you. So, changing it up a little bit. A little bit of a different format intro for this week. So, hopefully, you guys have a good week, good trading week, and everything's been going well for you. So again, if you guys don't know me by now, I guess everybody should know me because this is directly on my YouTube channel. But Breaks Trades, aka Blake, aka a decade of experience in the markets trader. I've been doing this again for the last 10 years, so across a bunch of different markets, the Forex and futures markets. And so spent the first few years of my career in Forex and transitioned to futures. And now I'm kind of in a space where I kind of trade actively both. So I'm going to be looking at a lot of assets today. If you guys, as usual, can go ahead and drop comments in the box whenever we get those, that'd be awesome. So I really want to run through. I don't see too many people in the call right now, so I just want to run through a lot of the assets that I think we're gonna talk about this week. So let me share my screen and we'll go ahead and get into it. So again, when I like to look at when I like to look at the markets, I always start with dollar analysis, because if we get a better understanding of where dollar's going, then we can get a better understanding of where the markets are going to head. So coming into last week, what we wanted to see, and what I told my mentorship chat, is that we wanted to see the market really continue to run lower, right? So if we're looking at this overarching market, you can see over the past few weeks, past 5 or 6 weeks, we've actually broken structure, right? We ran to a high and then broken structure on a weekly time frame on dollar. So what are we looking at for the next few weeks? Well, there is this fair value gap right here on the weekly level that we did just invert. So now this is an inverted fair value gap. So what do I want to see happen next? Well, I want to see the market run for continue to run for lows, right? And probably trade back up into this a little bit higher. So if we jump down to the daily time frame just to get a smaller but bigger overarching view. Again, last week I thought we might make a run up into these imbalances, retest things, and really we pretty much consolidated. So what I'll be looking for is pretty much more of the same, right? So the market to trade back up into these imbalances. On the low end, this imbalance in this range here from 103 to 105.13 or 104.14. It's all the way up to 105.7. So ideally, I want to see the market trade back into that range and then go lower. So the next thing I want to see potentially is attacking these lows and continuing to go down. So we've had a lot of bearishness in the market on dollars. So again, we want to see these respected, especially this weekly fair value gap. I can see the market trading back up into this. So I'll be bullish up into this range, and then I want to see the market continue to fall over. So that's what I want to see on dollar. If we move to euro, we're in a very interesting spot on euro. So higher time frame weekly analysis, we're very much still bullish, right? We having a pullback, we traded back up into this range. If you look closely, we swept last week's high, right, and took out the high and then traded back into the range. And again, this is on 6E1. It's the same thing as Euro USD. If I drop to Euro USD, you can see the same thing. So I know a lot of people trade the Forex, so I'll stay there. So again, the market took out this high, traded back into the range, and then proceeded to drive back down. So what do we want to see coming up in this week, right? So if I get rid of this for a second, I want to see the market dive lower, and we actually traded back into this fair value gap. So I'm anticipating us starting the week off by digging a little bit deeper into this range. Maybe even a consequent encroachment, maybe even lower, and eventually finding its way around. So what I'll be looking for really is a daily or 4 hour kind of break to the upside to give us the idea that the markets are ready to go up. Right. And so we're getting kind of taps off of that weekly fair value gap, but we haven't really had anything that breaks structure to the upside yet. So what I'll be looking for again is kind of sticking with this idea until we get that 4 hour break. Um, and really just want to see the market continue to go lower. So I would love to see the market drive lower Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and make a reversal somewhere around the week if we're going to do that. But this is a weekly fair value gap, so we could be in this for a couple weeks. So I recommend people trade what they see and really just get a better understanding of the idea that the market is going to reverse when it's time to reverse. And then even if you jump down to a daily time frame, you can see a smaller imbalance inside of this one, right? It's from that low to that high. So I can see the market really running for this low here before it decides to turn around. It could just reverse off of that, but I would imagine that the market would want to come down and grab this liquidity down here. So we talk about levels again. That's the level that I'm going to be watching in euro to see if we can get down there. So I'm pretty much going to be bearish until that happens. Either it's going to present a good bearish setup, or I'm just going to sit on my hands until we get in this range and then see what the market wants to do here. Ideally, again, we're very much bullish on the higher time frames, on the weekly time frames. So I want to see the market continue to go up over time, but it has to kind of mitigate this stuff first. So moving on to, oh, what's up, Tony? So I'm doing this a little different than last week, man. So I'm on this, doing this strictly off of my YouTube instead of the Trading Nut one. So I think something happened. So I'm just doing this again. So I might hop back on the other one. You might see me do this twice. So let's move on to GBP USD again. 6B1 is the same thing if you're the currency trader. So what I want to see here is a couple of things. I want to see the market really trade back into this range. We didn't go lower on here, right? So Euro proceeded to trade back into its weekly fair value gap a little bit. Dollar or GBP did not. So that could be divergence. It could mean that the market's being held to reverse back up. But if you look here, you can see that we're broken structure on the daily, right? And we want to continue to head back down. So I'm going to be looking at, these lows, potentially even back into this fair value gap is really where I want to see the market run. Once we get here, then I'll see if we are going to reverse and start to head back up on the higher time frames. But as of now, yeah, I'm looking specifically at this level right here on GBP. So I want to see what the market does when it trades back into that range. But it's very much bearish right now. So unless we get a 4 hour, very strong 4 hour break of structure that kind of lets us know, or a daily break of structure, I got to stick with this bias until it's time to reverse. So I want to see the market continue to go lower, maybe even to here, or touch this fair value gap again, and then we'll reevaluate and see if we want to go back up. Going on to, I'm going to go to gold for next. So gold is at a level that we wanted to see trade back up to. So weekly time frame, if we jump there, again, we're making all-time highs on gold. Whenever, and I've said this a bunch of times when we trade the NASDAQ, and when it was making all-time highs, that you have to be, you have to frame out a draw on liquidity, right? And once you get that, you got to be done, right? So this is our draw on liquidity. We know that there's going to be buy side resting there. So what do we want to see if we hop down to the daily time frame? That's going to be our overarching target. Some good things happened. So last week, we formed a new high again, but then we also traded back into this overarching fair value gap right there, right? And respected it completely. So very much a sweep. So what do I want to see this week coming up? Well, I want to see if the market will respect at least consequent encroachment of this wick, right? So consequent encroachment is that middle 50%. Yeah, it's right there. No, right there. So I want to see that stay. I want to see daily closes above this. I don't want to see daily close below that. We also have this fair value gap that we traded into last week there. So, which also lines up exactly with consequent encroachment, right? So, a lot of good stuff there as far as like confluences that we want to see the market continue to go higher. If that's the case, then I want to see something like this play out, right? Dang, it actually called gold. Now that I'm looking at it, I called gold to T from last week. I'm breaking down charts. I'm not mentally there yet to actually trade it. And I focus usually on one or two other assets. So that's ideally what I want to see is the market trade back into this range, stay above consequent encroachment on the close. It can wick below it, but I need to close above that CE level for just the best obvious setups, and then we'll take things back to the high if we get that. If we break, then I'm looking. If we disrespect, then I'm looking at this secondary imbalance here. Right, but we're still very much bullish in the big scheme of things. It's just intraday volatility and intraday bias. So, up over to the comment section. Nobody's here. Okay. Let me drop this link in. Wait 1 second, guys. I'm going to drop this link in the other chat because it's a little bit different than the one I've been doing. Copy text. Oops. And then we'll get back to it. Okay, cool. All right, so what are we looking at on the fun stuff, which is NASDAQ and the indices, right? So if we jump over to NQ is in this really like transitionary period where it found support at this level, at this fair value gap that we talked about, which is also, if we jump up one time frame, the weekly consequent encroachment of that order block. If you look at the daily time frame here, right, you see how we've really been trading around that. That's the market telling us that it doesn't want to go any lower. We also inverted this fair value gap right here. That we are consistently trading above that. So what do I want to see out of NQ this next week? I want to see bullishness, right? I think if we look at the 4-hour, we're starting to make higher highs and we're starting to head towards a bullish. It's still kind of consolidated and choppy, so we'll see if the setups look better on the other ones. But ideally, what I want to see here is the market run higher. So what do I see here? A couple things that lead me to believe that the market wants to go higher. You have low resistance liquidity, so we see these highs are getting lower. That's going to be easy pickings for people putting their buy stops above those highs. So we want to take those out. Also, I'll be looking really at a couple of levels. The first level is this volume imbalance here at 20,343. Right? I want to see if the market will run to that. If we get an extended run, then I'm looking more at this level here. Probably conservatively here, but probably here. So I'm just going to say conservatively take out that high at 20,868. So right now we're in a very much, it looks like we want to transition to a bullish trend, but also let me see what's going on with there's a volume imbalance there and there's another fair value gap right there. So I think the market could trade back up into that, gain some pull some orders, and then potentially it could go down again. We could be very much in a bearish condition, or this could be just one big fake out where we're consolidating, like even on the power of 3 on the monthly, right? So we're looking at consolidation. It's our consolidation channel, right? That's our manipulation, and then our distribution to go take out the highs. The reason I think that we're going to come back up here, obviously, is because NASDAQ is an investment vehicle, but also we didn't sweep liquidity. We just kind of left that high open. So there's probably a lot of liquidity sitting over those highs. So I think the market's going to run for those and take that out. So let's go to ES. Same idea here. Except we fully inverted this fair value gap. So we came back down into liquidity and ran this fair value gap right there. Right. And we're firmly trading above the consequent encroachment. We swept these levels, this daily time frame. We really came down and kind of took that out. So my guess is that we're probably going to run higher. Again, same ideas. I'm looking at this high initially at 5,770. I'm also looking at, again, this volume imbalance here. I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff so you guys can see. So that volume imbalance right there. And then, taking things higher to here is where I would like to see, right? Best case scenario for the week. If we were to get an extended run, then I'd want to see that. So again, areas where I think the market could pull back to get to that level. Could see something like this where we retest that fair value gap and then run things higher. Again, it's back down to that 5,683 level. If I go to the hour time frame, yeah, I definitely could see us running lows and then going higher, like these lows, and then taking out and going higher. So yeah, so that's what I'll be looking for in ES. Again, I'm trading more currencies right now personally. And I think just because I have a lot of students right now that are newer to these concepts that I'm teaching, I think they're easiest to learn on Forex and currency markets. But I mean, same stuff applies, man. So if I see a good setup on ES, I'll be looking to take it. Let's see. Then let's look at YM. So YM looks like it's probably in the same position. And so there's a couple things here I want to know. Again, I call this divergence play out. The fact that we swept these lows on everything but NASDAQ could have signaled the idea that the wanted to go back up. So at least initially. So we'll see how it goes kind of day to day. But ideally, what are we looking at here? Well, there is a huge fair value. It's not even huge. There's a fair value gap right here from this low to that high. So I want this to fully trade over that and then start running higher. If we could see an extended run. And so ideally, I want to see a couple things happen. I want to see how the market reacts trading back into this BISI here that's now inverted. And I want us to get above that, these two. So I'll be looking at, again, this high here as a target. Conservatively, maybe that high if we get an extended run. So I want to see that happen, right? And then if that happens, I mean, we could see a run all the way back up to this high potentially. So that's what I'm looking for in terms of us running for levels and kind of coming back to that high. So that's, again, what I want to see in YM. So yeah, and then let me go back to some of these majors too. So AUD USD, same situation, right? I think we're probably gonna dig deeper. And this has really been in consolidation and being held. And same thing with New Zealand dollar too, that we traded back up into this. And so going back to Euro, this could be, to be completely honest, this could be, something we just run right through and keep going back down. So again, I got to stick with the ideas that I presented right now. We're trading back into this range. We broke structure here, so we're bullish. But, just looking at AUD USD and NZD the way that it was held, I mean, you never know. We could invert this whole thing and keep going back down. If we do, then it's an easy play from, the inversion level, which would be about here. to this low. But you kind of have to stick with what the market is giving you and kind of look, each day to evaluate and see how your biases are playing out. So that's what I want to see. Oh, again, AUD, USD. I think we could still come back up into this level. We might not now that we've kind of dropped a little bit more. Um, Maybe even taking out a high like this and continuing to dig lower. So, and this has just been really choppy, really messy. And a lot of times you'll see this when pairs get held, right? When the market makers are not trying to move these things faster, you'll see that stuff play out a lot. So, 6N again is New Zealand dollar. So we basically inverted this, which was a good sign. We inverted that fair value gap right there. Ideally, I want to see the market run for this low. Right? And then go higher. I'm sorry, go lower. But continue based on what we're seeing here. If I look at the weekly time frame, just to get a better perspective, we wicked this and we closed back under this range. So we've had like 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks trading under this low, and we ran up to this fair value gap to clear stops. So this could be the start of a just bearish trend. So I'll be looking at that to see what happens. But that could be a very nice swing trade that we could be holding for a few weeks. So again, excuse me. That's what I'm looking for when it comes to Forex. I'm gonna look at Forex Factory to see what the news is for this upcoming week. Obviously, there's no news on Saturday. We have heavy bearish, heavy Euro news. Heavy Euro news on Monday. So be careful if you're a London session trader, because coming into this, you might get swamped at the end of, it looks like towards the end of London session or midway through London session. So 9:45, we have flash news. This could be a crazy day on Monday. So don't get crazy on Monday. I also don't trade on Mondays most of the time. Budget release Thursday. We have 8:30 news. So this will be probably a great day to trade. And then what do we have on Friday? Friday's just CAD news, and we have core PCE price index. So not quite CPI, PPI, but so my normal trading days in these weeks where there's no NFP is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll look to see what's going on around this window to see if there's an opportunity for bearishness. But I wouldn't be surprised if the market drives lower to start the session off. But usually I like to use Mondays to see how that works. So, all right, so that's all I got for you guys. I know this is a weird call because I'm doing this right off of my own YouTube for a change. So I want to grow this. I want to kind of keep growing this platform. You guys are going to see more and more videos over the next few months. But if you guys have questions at all, feel free to hit me on social media. Again, Brinks Trades is the IG, and you can find all that stuff in the description. So hopefully this was a good one for you guys, and I'll catch you on the next call. Peace.